What's up, everybody? Smooth Cosplayer here, your favorite salsa dancing cosplayer. And y'all, I got one of my favorite hip hop artists with me today. We got Wordburglar in the house. How you doing, man?
Man, it is an honor, Jam Master Jedi. This is dope, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing great.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you saw that. I'm glad you like it. Glad you like
Yeah.
it.
No, I dig your style for sure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Cool. So I have to split my opening question up in two parts because of just I did this with a hip hop trooper last week too, just of who y'all are. First of all, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Oh, probably when I first heard it. I used to love listening. I used to get all these tapes handed down to me from my cousins and everything, like old school, like Run DMC, Fresh Prince, Public Enemy, anything like 88, 89, 90. And those were sort of my first tapes that I got exposed to. And in Canada, we had these things called rap tracks. And it was this I don't know if you had them in the States, but they were, I'm sure you had some variation. They were these basically like mixtapes of all the top rap songs of the year. And it had everything. So like Eric B. and Rakim, like just all the hits way back when. And Maestro Fresh West, who's Canadian. I don't know if you know him, but he was the first #1 selling rapper in Canada. And he had a big hit called, there's Let Your Backbone Slide, Symphony in Effect. Anyways, I was a huge fan of him, this other Canadian group, the Rascals. So this is probably like, I feel like I was like grade 2, grade 3, and then just through life, man, I just always love rap. I just always love the beats, always love everything you can do, everything you can communicate, from, the fun stuff of like Fresh Prince to the political stuff of like Chuck D and Public Enemy, and just like the party rocking, like anything. And I have just been in love with it since I was a kid, man. It's just been like such a part of my life and so inspirational in so many ways. And yeah, I'm just to the core. So it's been, I can't remember not listening to rap. And my parents, they had a lot of like they play a lot of like disco records and Motown records and like all this stuff. So I was used to hearing like, like beats and just like stuff that I'd want to move to. And I think that's probably why I gravitated to a lot of the production of old school hip hop as well. Like Curtis Blow had a Curtis Blow record, like the Beat Street soundtrack. I don't know if you know that one with like Grandma, like Melly Mel, like old school stuff. So yeah.
Ooh. So it sounds like we got into it right around the same time. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
Oh, I always say I'm no years old.
No years old. Because from hearing what you're saying, it sounds like we're about the same. I'm an 82 baby. Might as well be 83 because I was.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Something like that. Gotcha.
Yeah, man. 80s babies, with the Decepticons, Cobra,
sir.
The best era for all that fun stuff.
Ravage from
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's nice.
I originally just wanted a panther, but I was like, I've seen a gajillion panthers crawling up people's arms. I'm like, I don't want something on my body that somebody else got. So I liked Ravage. He was never like in my top even 10, but I liked him enough to justify incorporating him into the tattoo. So I was like, okay, this has to stand out. I can't have nobody look at it and be like, oh, my cousin got that. Nah, that's not going to work.
Well, the design of that character, too, he looks so good, like in cartoons and comics and everything. And for a robot panther, he had a lot of personality, like he didn't talk like, some of the animal transformers talked, but he never spoke, but you just knew what Ravage was like thinking. Loyal to Soundwave.
Yeah. I love that. It's funny you mentioned the ones some of them talked and some of them didn't, because I think Ramhorn talked, but Steeljaw didn't.
Yeah, man.
Where are we drawing the line at?
Deep Cuts, Ramhorn. Oh man, yeah. Those were like the later era tapes, right?
Right, because I still remember when I saw Transformers the movie the first time, and we all were sitting there like, why does Soundwave have tapes but Blaster doesn't? What the heck? And then all of a sudden he said, sick 'em, and then all of a sudden all four of them like. So that was a beautiful moment right there. Yeah.
Soundwave is, if he's not my favorite, he's probably top 3 Transformers of all time for sure. sound.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And plus, I mean, just the voice alone, except for that one episode where he broke character and he sounded like Dr. Claw. There was somewhere in season 3, because everything terrible happened in season 3. But I think he was the same guy did Dr. Claw's voice too. They just didn't do whatever they did to transform the voice for that one episode.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was the same guy. Yeah.
I think it was Frank Welker. Maybe I'll do my homework later.
Oh yeah, Frank Welker. Yeah, he did Dr. Claw. Sorry, my screen is messing up a bit here. I'm pushing some buttons.
No, you're good. I still see you clear.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, like it's funny how I find out in my adulthood that so many guys did all the same voices. Like Frank did Megatron, he did Abu from Aladdin. I just found that out recently.
Did not know.
Right. Yeah, what's his name? Michael Bell, Sideswipe, Proud, Scrap Iron, Scrapper, who else?
I think he did Duke from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's who, yeah. One of my favorites, Scott McNeil, I think. Dinobot, Rat Trap, Duo Maxwell from Gundam Wing. I could keep going, but yeah.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, the cartoon historian.
Yeah, man. Dude, so speaking of cartoons, my favorite album of yours. Now, I've seen a bunch of other videos from other albums, but the two that I have, Welcome to Cobra Island and Space First, just caught that last year. And of course, as soon as I get them, I wear them out. Like that's like when I get something good, I listen to nothing but that in the car for like weeks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Like I was even I was watching some of the videos last night, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, hey, this is who I'm interviewing tomorrow. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And she said, you know, I don't know half of what he's talking about, but from what I've heard from you listening to him, I've always liked I've always liked listening to him. I was like, approval from the wife, though, you know. But yeah, like I've been procrastinating with this. I meant to do this, but I guess it's better that I'm doing it somewhat in person now. I always wanted to leave you a really good review on Welcome to Cobra Island, because here's the thing. I grew up on the cartoons of G.I. Joe and Transformers, right? Due to not having a good allowance, like ever. Like I would get the toys when it was Christmas time, but as far as collecting comics, never. I might have had my hands on like 2 G.I. Joe comics in my whole life until adulthood. So I missed out on the awesomeness that was the comic books. And then until I got these G.I. Joe trading cards and I started reading about all the special missions and all these characters dying in this one comic. And I'm like, I never knew about this. What the heck? Somebody got shot? Like, what the? Like, shot for real, not just blue and red pages. But,
oh, yeah. Issue 107. That one's crazy.
I forget what number. I can't think of, like, I can't match a number to an incident. Are we talking about Saw Viper?
Yeah, Saw Viper. Yeah, okay. That whole Saw Viper saga is crazy. I mean, that run is insane. Like, Larry's run from 1 to issue 126 are phenomenal. Yeah. And then it gets a little, slows down a bit, but we don't got to go there.
So basically, like the past year, I've been collecting. I started doing digital comics because they were cheaper. So I got like G.I. Joe Classics. I started with. What was I trying to go back and watch? I was trying to go back and look at right up where, because I kept reading on this trading card that Cobra Commander buried some people in a tanker under a volcano. And little 9-year-old me, when I read that, I'm like, how do you bury somebody on a boat under a volcano? That doesn't add up. So I was like, I need to see this in action, right? Yeah. So I got that, and I collected more from there. So I got to see all of this happen. All the stuff I'd only read about, I got to actually read. Cutting that short because I could mess up and be like, wait, this is your interview, not mine.
No, I love this, man. I could talk this stuff all day. It's cool.
Yeah, but when I listened to your album, and then I started reading the actual comics, I'm like, I'm seeing his lyrics on the page right now. Like, so basically, I'm like, if any of y'all want to catch up on comics, G.I. Joe comics, and you don't have the money to get all the books, get Welcome to Cobra Island. because everything you said was accurate to what I was reading on the page. I was like, yep, sounds about right. I remember him putting that lyric in there. I remember this from Letter from Snake Eyes. Like that's what hooked me. Somebody sent me, because I cosplay Snake Eyes myself. That was my first cosplay, and someone sent me a link to all three of those, the Letters from Snake Eyes, and I'm like, okay, this is like just this whole backstory. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I just got to get the album, and I was glad I did. But yeah, if I could put a review somewhere, that's what I would say. Like that, number one, like is dope. Like how did somebody make a album about G.I. Joe, about anything nerdy, and it not be whack? Like it wasn't nothing cheesy at all of that. What made you just make a whole G.I. Joe album in the first place?
Oh man, first of all, thank you. I really, really appreciate all that. And that was from the outset, that was the first thing I sought out to do, because is not make it whack. And I'm with you 100%. And I know the second somebody probably told you, oh, you got to check out this rap album about G.I. Joe, because I would be the same, and I think, oh, that's probably whack. Like, why would somebody do that? But I mean, for me, obviously, I take the music very seriously. I take the art form seriously, and I love what can be done where we can explore concepts and do whatever we want. I basically went my life being a G.I. Joe fan. Above, I love Spider-Man, Transformers, Star Wars, all that stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But G.I. Joe was like always like, I never had like all the figures. As I got older, I keep collecting them, and I'm still trying to collect them all.
Same here.
Even with the comics, like I would miss issues here and there, and then I'd kind of make up in my head what I thought happened in between issues, you know, like, and then I'd like track them down and get the back issues, or now of course I've got the full set. I wanted to make the album basically, and it's still for free. If anybody wants it on Bandcamp, you can download Name Your Price. I just wanted to celebrate it and make it fresh, and just show people that it can be done without it being whack, because the stories were so cool. And over the years, people were, and I'd always have G.I. Joe references in earlier albums and stuff. I'd say something about Zartan or whoever, the Roadblock or Destro, whatever. And people would be like, why are you always rapping about G.I. Joe, man? I'm like, because G.I. Joe is cool, man. Like, the stories are crazy. You know what I mean? So the album started with the Snake Eyes songs. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to do one Snake Eyes song. And then I was like, oh, I can't do just one Snake Eyes song.
Right. So there's so much to put in there.
Yeah, he's like Wolverine or Batman. There's so much that you can just take apart. What Larry Hama did when he created that character, and reading the comic as his history unfolds, it's really phenomenal storytelling. And yeah, so it started with that, and then it just kept growing, and then I got the idea for the Rap Viper song, and then that universe was just so rich, and I was having so much fun. Yeah. And I work with a lot of really great producers and DJs, and I was messing with the beats with them, and like, all right, what do you think about this sample? Can we do something with this? And I couldn't pick just one sample. Right. So that's how we built out the whole album, and then it kind of unfolded, and before I knew it, sort of years of my memories as a kid of playing with these toys and enjoying these stories, they just really kind of came right out on the mic. And I'm really happy that you enjoy it and that it's gotten like a good reception, because let's be honest, like there's a lot of whack stuff like out there. And I mean,
no names, are we?
I don't want to go there, but
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, like so we don't got to go there. There's a lot of great stuff, and if people love something, that's awesome. But I wanted to make sure, and I guess there was a little part of me that didn't want anybody else to do a G.I. Joe album and make it whack. Oh, and the G.I. Joe movies had come out, and that's kind of what started it, like the live action movies. And people were like clowning on me and be like, oh, you're the comics, you gotta do the comics. So really it's a love letter to the brand for me. Yeah. And a part of me was like, maybe this will be an audition for me to write some G.I. Joe comics. So if you like it, tell IDW. I'd be like, bring this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
because what I did try and do is, as much it is about the comics, and I'll wrap this up real quick, I also included a lot of stuff from the file cards, from the cartoons, from the later comics as well, even a couple references to the movies. Like, I tried to pull all my favorite pieces, because like Cobra La was never in the Marvel comics, but as a kid, Cobra La was freaky. Like, that's freaked me out. Like, I always was like, I don't want to go to Cobra La.
That's kids. I'm like, the vines catching everybody trying to escape. Like, that is burned in my memory, dude. Like Cobra Commander's seeing that twice. Once is enough. Twice seeing those spores on his face, like, we weren't supposed to see that at 9 or whatever years old you were. Like that, no.
Yeah, and and the whole idea that like everything you know is a lie. Like, that's what I got. I'm like, wait a second, this is Cobra? What do you mean? There's a snake, like a snake civilization?
Nobody in Cobra La except for Galagulus actually had any snake characteristics. It was just like crustaceans and bugs and stuff. I'm like, where's the Cobra in Cobra La? Like, for real, like.
It's I don't know, but it's creepy, and it's really kind of polarizing between fans. I think some people hate Cobra La because it's not, the cartoon was always a little more fantastical, whereas like the comics leaned more towards like military and a little more grounded. But you still had Zartan and Serpentor and these, out there characters. But
exactly.
But it's fun, right? You're a kid, you want that fantasy.
Right. It's funny you mentioned how the movies kind of got you started. There's a lyric in Letter to Snake Eyes 3 that caught my ear towards the end. It said, I'm trying to remember how it started, but it said something to the effect that just keep the lips off my balaclava. Was that a jab at the fact that Snake Eyes had the molded lips on the helmet?
100%.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad I was right on that. I was like, I started, I'm like, why? I'm like, I get why it's on the toy, because if you actually have a mask, if it's a cloth mask, you probably can see the lips, but it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, you feel me. Yeah.
I'm glad you got that, because that's what it is. And there's all kinds of Easter eggs like that throughout the record. So
wow.
Yeah.
And I do love the production now that you mentioned that too, because like it took me back to my favorite era of hip hop. Like Wu-Tang and Outkast always flip-flop as my favorite artists. So like I'm boom bap era all day. So all of the production on the album and your rhyme style kind of took me back to that. And I'm like, we don't get this anymore. And then also about the production, I'm sitting here listening to every track, and I'm like, I can pick out what. But it was all pulled from the samples pulled from the cartoon. So I'm like, I know that song. I know that song. I know that one. Like, so I'm just fanboying and going back to my childhood throughout the whole thing. So all of that mixed together, I was just like, yeah.
Beautiful. That's what we wanted. And I mean, I was so happy when I made it, and I really did just make it for myself and like 3 of my good friends who love G.I. Joe too. And so the fact that it's like reached way more people than that, it means a lot. So I'm glad you enjoy it. And yeah, Wu-Tang, of course. Yes. Like 90s was Wu-Tang, Nas, like Kool Keith. That was like, whoa. There's the legends, the gods. And Outkast, of course, you're from the South. Yeah. So man. Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music, man. I had that record.
Yeah, I'm currently in the middle of an Outkast binge right now. I just finished Stank on You yesterday. So I got Speaker Bots, Love Below, and
AT Aliens.
No, let me see. No, I started with Southern Playalistic. Southern Playalistic, AT Aliens, Aquemini. Aquemini is my favorite.
Yes, Aquemini. Yeah, man.
Yeah, then Stank on You, and then I'm trying to remember. The Outer Wild soundtrack. That's what I was thinking of. So the double album and then that is all I got left. Normally I say that for like a long road trip, like if I got like 4 or 5 hours, like and if I don't finish it on the way down, I'll finish it on the way back up. But yeah, so I'm in the middle of that right now. So I'm like, okay. I've been watching some Andre 3000 interviews, and I was like, it's about time. I'm overdue.
Yeah. Did you listen to Killer Mike at all? He's from the South too, right?
Yeah, I've heard a couple of his songs. I don't have any of his albums, but yeah, I'm familiar with his work. I just don't have any like actual albums of his. But I like him. I like what he's trying to do. You know, politically and everything too. Trying to make a difference there.
He's brilliant. Yeah, love Killer Mike and Run the Jewels. He's in that group too with LP, who's from New York, and that's they put out crazy music. So
yeah, wow. So I didn't realize dude was from New York, and I'm like, I love anytime, you know, South and New York collaborate, because I felt like I was the only person in my high school who loved anything up north. Other than Dungeon Family, Ludacris, T.I., Nappy Roots, other than them, I could not stand anything Southern hip hop. Like I couldn't stand No Limit. I kind of became a fan not by choice, because okay, third string on the football team, right? And I'm listening to Wu-Tang and Boot Camp Click and everything on my Walkman, but of course everybody else is blasting No Limit, so I can't help but hear it. So some of the stuff, while I wouldn't have purposely listened to it back then, let it come on now, and I'm like, oh, like I'll get excited, even though I really couldn't stand it back then. So it was kind of osmosis, I guess. So like I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. But yeah, you just reminded me of Helter Skelter, man. Boot Camp Click, that Helter Skelter record, Nocturnal.
Oh, yes.
That was crazy.
Bullet Flash Go Sky. Yeah. That's what drew me in. And Rock's voice, that iconic voice, like just that alone just sold me.
Yeah. Sean P, before he really like rose to that next level, you know?
Right.
Sean P just, you know, ascended to like God status, really.
Yeah, man.
He is. Yeah. Rest in peace.
I was just telling, man. Rest in peace, man. I forgot he had passed. There was I was just telling someone yesterday, I forget why we got on this subject, but I used to have to get the clean versions of all my rap albums, right? Back, you know, I still live with my parents, so I got ATLians and Nocturnal for my birthday, right? But we got it from Walmart. ATLians is not so bad, except for the fact that, you know, like, you know, Andre always drew a naked woman on his on the CD. So like the clean version of that, she had like a digitally put on like green bikini on it, right?
I've never seen that.
Yeah, but not Nocturnal. I didn't realize there was 4 songs and 2 skits missing on the clean version until my boy, who used to always, like, whenever there wasn't a clean version of anything available, like all my Wu-Tang stuff I got from him, he let me borrow it. I'd dub it on the tape, and I would use the pause button to like kind of cut out where the curse words were. Little budding producer that never actually took off anyway. Yeah, so he played his version for me one day, and I'm like, what? I'm missing songs over here? So yeah, that I eventually got it from him and recorded it, but I was just like, Walmart, why you do me like that? That wasn't cool.
It's amazing that they even got into Walmart though. At this, when I think of that, like, boot camp back then was definitely like hard to find. Well, in Canada, it was kind of hard to find. Like, I had to pay. I remember like the tape of Black Moon was like an import tape, and it was like $20 for the tape.
For a tape? What?
Yeah, and that was in like what, 93, 94?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a paper route, so I spent all my money on rap records and comic books.
There you go.